If you need that extra boost of light when you're driving at night and want to do it in a subtle way, this Rough Country 20-inch Black Series LED light bar with the bumper mounting brackets will be a great addition to your 2022 or newer Toyota Tundra. Now, this kit will be a great pick for the Tundra owner who wants some extra lighting for their truck, whether that's on dark back roads, when they're driving in rural areas, or just down a dark trail, but they don't necessarily want a huge lighting setup to achieve that. Now, this design has that built-in OE feel that gives you the right amount of light and again will be incredibly subtle and have a clean appearance for the front end of the Tundra. Now, as you can see, this is going to be a super slim setup with a single row design that will mount right into the lower grille cutout, again for that sophisticated OE Plus feel. Now, the housing will be black with a riveted border on the outside, so that's going to add some more aggressive styling once you get a closer look at the light bar. Now, what's really impressive about this setup is the 25-watt high-intensity Cree LEDs putting out a total of about 7,200 lumens, which undoubtedly will light up whatever path that you're taking in your Tundra. The lighting will also feature a flood beam pattern, so not only will the LEDs be very bright, but they will be wider spread and evenly distributed across your field of view, making your visibility just that much better. Now, the light bar will have a solid construction that you can rely on, especially for the location where it's mounted in, where it takes a lot of hits and kick up or excessive water right in that lower bumper area. Now, the housing here will have a durable die-cast aluminum construction with a black powder coat to protect from any corrosion on the metal underneath. On the front, this will boast a tough impact-resistant lens, and the entire unit is going to have an IP67 water and dust proof rating, so you can rest assured that rain, puddles, or trail dust won't make it into the light and harm it in any way. This is also going to include a full wiring harness here. I do like that the plug is also going to have a little bit of a seal for water protection, and this is all going to be completely bolt-on with no cutting or modification required, so you can have some peace of mind that you don't have to modify your brand new truck. This kit will come in at about $150, and honestly, for what you're getting here, I think that that's a great deal. Now, what shines through most compared to other accessory lighting solutions is the fact that Rough Country put this in not only an advantageous spot for good lighting performance, but this also looks like it's built in from the factory without doing any modifications to, again, your brand new truck. Now, not to mention the durability in the components and the super inclusive plug-and-play design really makes it a no-brainer when you're looking for affordable lighting for impressive performance. Install will be a 1 out of 3 wrenches on the difficulty meter and take you about an hour to get the job done with some basic tools. Again, wiring is going to be very straightforward, so no need to be intimidated when it comes to that. Now, at this point, we can head over to the shop and check out a detailed breakdown of the install and what it looks like step by step. So that's going to wrap it up for me. Let's go ahead and get into it.
The tools you're going to need for this install include an electric or regular 3/8 ratchet, a 17mm ratcheting wrench, a pair of diagonal cutters, an included Allen key, a 10mm socket, and non-included zip ties. What's up, guys? Today we're going to be installing a light bar on our Tundra, so let's get started. Alright guys, so the first thing to do to remove our front bumper is we have to remove our fender flare, and to do so, there is 4 10mm bolts here that we're going to remove with our 10mm socket. So now there's 3 more up top, and we're going to remove with a 10mm socket. And we got 4 more on the other side. And now all we have to do to remove our fender flare is pull back and pop the clips out of place. Now you can repeat this process for the driver's side. Next, you're going to pop open your hood. We're going to locate these 4 screws here. We're going to grab a 10mm socket and remove those 4 bolts. Next, we're gonna be removing the 2 clips on the passenger side. So we're gonna press down on our tab, pull towards the vehicle. Same for the other one. Once your connectors are disconnected, grab a clip removal tool. We're gonna remove this clip. Now we'll move to the connector that is to the right of the 2 that we just disconnected. Just gonna remove this connector. Set that off to the side. Grab our clip removal tool, and we can remove this clip. Moving on to the driver's side, we're going to remove this connector here. Press down on our tab. Remove. Grab that clip removal tool and remove our clip. Moving on to the vehicle, we're going to grab a 10mm socket and we're going to remove this bolt here. Now there's 3 more along the bottom of the bumper. One more over here. So now we can remove our bumper once all those bolts are removed. We're gonna come over to the side here where we pulled that fender flare off, and we're gonna pull off to release those clips. We're gonna do that on the other side, and once that's done, we can remove our bumper. Pop these out of place. And one last step before we pull our bumper off, we have to remove this clip, and for the other side. So we're going to take that clip removal tool to remove our clip. And repeat that on the other side. And now your bumper is removed. So now we're going to be attaching our brackets that hold in the light bar. So we're going to grab a 17mm ratcheting wrench and we're going to remove this bolt. Now we're going to remove our bolt, place this over top of the hole, and reinsert our bolt. We're going to thread that in. And you can tighten that back down with the 17mm ratcheting wrench. Now we're going to do that same thing on the other side. 17mm ratcheting wrench. Remove our bolt. Grab our bracket, re-thread in our bolt, tighten that back down with the 17mm ratcheting wrench. Now we can attach our light bar. I'm going to have the wiring on the passenger side of the vehicle. So we're going to line these up with the brackets. I'm going to grab our small Allen head bolt, lock washer, and our washer. I'm going to put those on top of the bolt, like so. Line this up with the hole in the bracket. I'm going to thread that in. Then I'm going to get this in on the other side. Then we can tighten it down with our included Allen key. Now once this is threaded in, you're going to repeat that process on the other side. Then you can tighten that down with the included Allen key. All right guys, so now we're going to be attaching our wiring harness to the light bar itself. So we're going to grab the end of our harness and I'm going to snake this through the top of our radiator control. I'm going to slide that through. We can make our connection. Tuck that off to the side. Now we're going to loop this up to the battery. Now I'm just going to use a zip tie to hold these up in place so it doesn't hit anything. I'm going to loop mine through here and around. I'm going to pull that tight. Tighten up that zip tie. Then you can grab a diagonal cutter or any pliers with a cutter on it and cut off the excess of our zip tie. Then we can keep making our way up to the battery. We can bunch up our excess like so. I'm gonna grab another zip tie just to keep this bunched up. Could tuck this off to the side. So again, we'll take that 10mm socket, remove this nut. Slide our negative cable over top of it. Tighten that back down. Same for this side. Put this on the end. Thread our nut back on. We'll tighten this back up with our 10mm socket. All right guys, so you can wire this however you'd like, but running the wire from the battery over to the driver's side, you could wire this up by zip tying and holding that in place, but for demonstration purposes, we will not be doing so. So now we can get to the firewall to wire up our switch. So now we're gonna locate the rubber bushing that is in the firewall. You could peel that up and out of the way so you can get your connector through. Another good option is you could remove your switch from the harness and just slide it in through this way, so it makes it a little easier. So now that we've pulled the connector through our firewall, we could reconnect our switch here, like so. Then you can wire this up however you'd like in the dash. And once we tucked our slack out of the way, we can remove the backing to our switch, stick it on into place. So before we get our bumper back onto the vehicle, we have to relocate our wiring harness to get it out of the way of the light bar. So I'm going to grab a clip removal tool, and we're going to remove this clip here, 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 and here. So we could do that now. One more over here. And now pretty much what we're going to do is we're going to move all of our wiring up over to this side. And we're going to grab some zip ties and hold that down into place. So now I'm just going to take some zip ties. I'm going to loop it through here. Keep that in place. All right, and just one more for the other side. Now we can go back through and cut off the excess with our pliers or diagonal cutters. All right, now we can get this back onto the vehicle. All right guys, so now we're gonna get the bumper back onto the vehicle. It's gonna be the same orientation as we took it off. Push the bottom in and come over to the sides. We're gonna line it up and press in. Come on to the other side and do the same thing. So now we can thread our 4 bolts back into place. And we'll tighten them back up with our 10mm socket. Now we'll reinstall our connectors. So we'll put our clip into its place. Make our connections. Can only go one way. The connectors are 2 different types. And while we're here, we'll put the push clip back down here. Now you can repeat this process for the other side. All right guys, so now we're back under the vehicle. We're gonna reinstall our bolts. We'll thread those into place first. Now we can tighten both these down with a 10mm socket. Now you can repeat this process for the remaining 2. So now we'll reinstall our fender flare. We just gotta line these clips up here with the holes and snap it into place. Like so. Then we're gonna grab all of our little screws and we're gonna thread these in all the way around. And we have 4 more towards the front of the vehicle. Now we can tighten all these up with our 10mm socket. And we'll tighten these up with our 10mm socket. Three more in the middle. Now there's 4 more. Now you can repeat this exact process on the other side. So that's going to wrap up the install on our Rough Country 20-inch Black Series LED light bar with bumper mounting brackets for your 22 to 23 Tundra. Thanks for watching, and for all things Tundra, keep it right here at ExtremeTerrain.com.